Hey, good morning, Pirates. I thought I'd do just a kind of tips and tricks, some different parts of the car that students are struggling with. Um, First of all, your motor mount. To tape that on, I put a piece of tape so that it is partially on the motor mount and partially sticking off. And then to tape that onto my body tube, you want to make sure that that angle is pointing down towards the front. And then I put the tape on one side, get that side lined up, and then I flip it around and do the same thing on the other side, so that it sits kind of on the top of the body tube and there's a lot of tape, and then pressing that tape in is very helpful. Should be sort of rigid when you get done because it's going to have your propeller shaft and be pulling. Another area that students sometimes struggle with is attaching the axles to the body tube. And so you can see I have some real thin strips of tape that I have kind of just wrapped around. And so to do that, I take a piece of tape, see if you can see this, and I cut it into strips, and then I use those strips. And so on my body tube, I just kind of do figure eights above and over, under, over, under, kind of like that. And then you can kind of adjust that and scrunch the tape to get it perpendicular. And then that's really easy to do when you have your axle unit like this before you put wheels on. If your wheels are already on your axle unit, it's a lot harder to tape that without boogering your wheels. So I would encourage you to tape the wheels on after you've already put your axles onto the body tube. And then some general tests as you go. Your axles should spin freely before you go forward. If they do not spin freely, then straighten out the paper clip some more. Start over. It's a lot easier to get these working before you put it on the car. If you don't do those little tests and have those kind of standards for construction at that level, when you put it together, it's probably never going to actually go. And then when you get it together, your wheels should spin freely. If they do not, it's probably not going to go under the power of the propeller. Another area people struggle with is they put the rubber band on so it's too short. So if you're pulling this, there's a lot of force going this way and it puts a lot of friction back here, and so the propeller's not going to spin freely. And so you'll notice that on mine, look how loose that rubber band is, and then as I wind it, it takes a lot of winding, but it won't pull forward and increase the friction between the propeller and the straw nearly as much, which allows the propeller to spin freely under the power of the rubber band. Let me kind of show you. It should spin fairly easily. If it doesn't, then you need to work on that mechanics, maybe lengthen the rubber band. Putting something here to reduce friction, making sure it's a good clean cut on your straw, those types of things. Another test you can do as you're trying to get your propeller to work, see if I can back up and show you. You should be able to move it through the air, and the air moves the propeller. If that doesn't work for you, if you're moving it and your propeller is staying stationary, then the folds, the design of your propeller is somehow needs to be changed in order to move air as it spins. And again, there is not any one design of propeller that will work. That's one of the areas that I encourage you to think about a fan blade or a propeller on a motorboat to figure out the design or shape of that. And you could Google propellers and go to images and see some different examples. And then it has to be something that you can make attached to a paper clip, make out of paper for the most part, or something that's really light, and be the size so that it doesn't drag and hit the ground and so forth when it's spinning. Some suggested materials if you're running out of this cardstock or this manila folder: cereal boxes, shoe boxes, anything that has thin cardboard or cardstock, you're welcome to use that, and I encourage you to be creative in trying to find materials to make your car work. Hope things are going well. Let me know if you have questions. We are just working on cars today in class, and that's what we'll do today and tomorrow. Have a good spring break. We'll check in again after spring break. Bye.